Hugh Freeze never gives up on elite recruits. They seem to be back in it for a 5-star.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. A lot of recruiting to talk to, so we're bringing in Brian Smith. He hosts the portal that is Locked On's recruiting NIL transfer portal show. He puts up multiple shows every day. He's absolutely insane. Auburn seems locked in a battle with USC for an elite offensive lineman. Sign me up. More on that in a second, as well as Auburn went to Travis Burgess, the quarterback target, excuse me. And then, we'll touch on that. But Zion Elee. So you texted me. We had a conversation last week. Tom Loy of 247 put out just kind of a few notes on some of the top guys in this class. And he had a little section on Zion Elee. Talk about how great he is, how he's committed to Maryland. But then at the end, he's like, but Auburn's not going away. I was like, well, that's interesting. That's interesting. And then Brian, over the weekend, Zion Elee tweets an emoji of an eagle with a question mark. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but it's really hard not to. What's the latest from your perspective with Zion Elee and Auburn?
I would imagine that Auburn's either been to his school or whatever I don't know how it works. I don't think they can go to his house right now, but the rules change all the time. But the evaluation period's underway. And as you've noted many times, Auburn does not go away very easily at all, which I love, by the way.
Yes.
I say this all the time, and it's kind of mean-spirited in a way, but you're working for the school and they're paying for your travel out there. You're not losing anything. Might as well go for it. That's how I look at it.
That's right. And it's worked. It's worked. I mean, their track record so far has been incredible as far as flipping. I mean, Mary Flipmas has been a thing that has been celebrated on the Plains since Hugh Freeze got here. So Zion Elee, just a refresher for everyone, 5-star guy. On3 has him as the number 1 edge in the country and a top 5 player nationally. An incredible talent. He's been to Auburn's campus, and it kind of felt like Auburn was really trending. St. Francis guy, which we've talked about the pipeline that they've built up in Baltimore, Maryland, which is super fun, super exciting. But then he says, you know what? All right, he took a few visits and he's like, I'm staying committed to Maryland. I'm locking down my recruitment, was what his tweet was, a few months ago, I guess. And then all of a sudden, out of seemingly nowhere, you hear this chatter again from national analysts, and then Zion Elee himself puts the tweet out. So my question is, what are some motives for this? Zion Elee, him putting out the eagle emoji and the question mark, and Tom Loy, with his reporting and all that, which Tom Loy, I don't know who his source is, but he has been nails. He has been on it when it comes to Auburn stuff on the recruiting landscape over the last 2 years. He's been great. He's been all over it. So that does lead me to think that there is a lot of credibility to this report. But what motivators does Zion have to tweet this out? Because he's teasing the Auburn fan base. I mean, he's teasing the fan base at Maryland that he's currently committed to. What does a recruit gain from something like this?
I would imagine that he has a chance to gain a different perspective by taking another visit. I'm guessing Auburn's pushing for that, and they're probably still in negotiation with NIL as well, meaning should I still look at them is how I take that tweet with the question mark. That's my guess is Auburn didn't just stay pat.
Yeah.
They probably upped the ante, and I have no idea what the offer is from either school before anybody asks, but it's substantial. Either way, I'm guessing that it's going to be north of 7 figures if it isn't already. So
Maryland, they are ready to play the NIL game. We've talked about it before.
Yes.
It's Under Armour money, right? That's where a lot of
the guy that owns the company is a big Maryland booster, and he went to school there.
Got it. So if it's tied, if the money's tied, where does he go? Like, does he have this blind loyalty to Maryland? He's from there. Does he want to stay home? I mean, every kid is different. Is it 100% NIL with Zion Elee? My guess is it's not 100%. It's not purely the highest bidder. But if Auburn can get close to this, it makes you wonder. Let me just throw a hypothetical out there. Hugh Freeze, after 8A, hinted at a few positions that Auburn wanted to add in the portal. Pass rusher was one of them. They have not yet, at the time of us recording this, added in the spring window a pass rusher, unless they plan on using somebody differently than the way that they were using their previous school, which could happen, but I don't think it is. My assumption is that didn't happen because they kept everybody in their edge room on the roster. And we all know it's cheap. It's cheaper to keep somebody in your room than it is to go out and get somebody else. And I'm just wondering if they had money in the war chest ready to go get an edge rusher if they needed to, and now they kept everybody. Does that give you more ammo to go get a guy like Zion Elee?
It could be. Plus, I also think they're very well aware this is long-term planning. There's about a 2% chance Falk is back in 2026.
Keldrick, yes, right.
That probably means your best player on the entire roster is gone. That's a big pill to swallow regardless position, and it's a pass rusher. That's bigger. So if you're not going to replace Falk with one guy, therefore you need to kill the big giant with 1,000 stones, meaning you throw a bunch of younger pass rushers at him. Somebody has a hot day, he plays, but you want to rotate it worse. I mean, Keldrick probably won't come off the field much this year, but
but you're right though. I mean, you've got to look ahead at this, and is this the most effective way to do it? It could be. It could be, because you're gonna have to hit the portal otherwise. I mean, everybody adjusts to the college game at different ways, but Zion Elee, you get that 5th star, the assumption is you're good to play right away. And after this season, Kieran Crawford is out of eligibility, Chris Murray out of eligibility, Keldrick Falk, NFL draft, probably a top 20 pick in next year's NFL draft. After that, assuming everything goes chalk, your room is Amaris Williams, Jamonte Waller, Joe Phillips, and Jared Smith. We've heard incredible things about Jared Smith. I think him and Amaris being your favorites to be kind of those bookend situation next season. Not the end of the world, but if you were able to, you're going to have to add more. You're going to have to. Hezekiah Harris is part of this class. Is he a day one starter? I'm not sure. We'll see. It's just so hard to predict and project day one starters unless you're special. Zion Elee, I think, is in that category where we could feel comfortable saying, hey, yeah, you probably will play day one.
Yeah, Zion would find his way onto the field. Are any of these guys going to beat out somebody like Amaris? No, they're not. But they're going to play.
Yes.
And I give Auburn credit. They played younger guys over the last couple of years, so they can sell that at any position. Mm-hmm. And this kid's a 5-star. I really doubt he's too worried about playing time at Maryland or Auburn. He's not.
So do you think it's okay? Do you think it's safe for Auburn fans to look at all this smoke around Zion Elee and say, yeah, we're back in it?
Yes.
You think it's real?
He's not going to tweet that he's going to get phone calls for that tweet that aren't going to be very much fun for him.
Let me be cynical. Let me be the cynical Auburn person for this. Is there any way he's just, oh yeah, sure. And I can be one every now and then. I'll be one right now, just for the sake of this conversation. Is there any way he's just tweeting that out to use Auburn to get more money out of Maryland?
I don't think that you can get away with that now, because while fans often don't talk to other fan bases, most coaches talk to other coaches.
Yeah.
Just as for instance, this would not happen where you and I live, but like Auburn and Alabama coaching staff members hang out, wouldn't be no big deal. Fans, that's just the reality of it. So if something happened with Auburn making an offer or whatever it is to up the ante in one way, shape, or form, maybe even somebody direct to say, hey, this is what it is.
Yeah, no, you're totally right though. I forgot what presser it was, but something came up where like Hugh Freeze, I don't know if he was asked a question or if he just took the question, his answer that direction, but he was talking about like the SEC coaches that he talks to a lot. And I think he said Eli Drinkwitz, and he's like, I talk to Kirby Smart all the time. And Auburn fans are like, you what? You can't talk to Kirby? It's like, these guys, it is how it works. So Interesting stuff, exciting stuff. Auburn appears to be back in it for 5-star edge rusher Zion Elee. The Tigers did some recruiting over the weekend, and it's a quarterback. The latest with Travis Burgess next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Supply House. You can get the supplies you need from the site made for skilled trades. That, of course, is Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. If you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person, not some AI robot. You're talking to a human. And you also can kind of get a free leg up. Their free Trade Master program, it offers exclusive perks. You get a dedicated phone line, free shipping, discounts on every order. It's free. So if you want to join their Trade Master program, supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use their promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's at supplyhouse.com. Brian Smith, host of The Portal, here with you, talking all things Auburn recruiting, transfer portal, NIL, all of it. So over the weekend, Travis Burgess tweets out thanking Derek Nix and Ken Austin for his in-home visit. And of course, this comes like the day after you and I do a show about like, oh no, North Carolina's trending. But hey, once again, there's a theme. Hugh Freeze doesn't care. This coaching staff doesn't care. They are going, if they want you, they are going to continue to recruit you until early signing day.
That's just kind of how they do it. And they're very consistent with it.
Yes.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. I haven't heard anything, or have I even inquired. I'm probably going to go see Travis this week, barring something unforeseen. But his parents, to my knowledge, prefer Auburn, unless that's changed. Okay. I wonder if they wanted Auburn to stop by just to make sure. That'd be my guess. And from what Travis had told me at Elite 11 about a month ago, face-to-face conversation, he wanted the coaches to come by just in general in spring to see, get the full scope, and then take a few visits. Okay. Well, he's doing that. Auburn just happens to be one of them. I didn't think they would come in this early, etc., but they went right out of the gate. Coordinator, quarterback, coach, they went guns blazing. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what other school or schools is going to gain a visit, if any will. Travis didn't guarantee me that when I spoke with him.
Right.
But Auburn, I wonder if they, at this point, if it's fair to ask, they will take the first quarterback that makes the pledge.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a situation where, like, it doesn't feel like Auburn's picky. They just kind of want their guy. And it seems like there's 2 or 3 guys, and we've talked about them, that they're okay with. I mean, the other being, Landon Duckworth, in-state guy, who will take an official visit to Auburn in the next few weeks. And so do you use that tactic with Travis and Duck and say, look, we're going to, like, whoever, like, if you want to be an Auburn quarterback, we're going to take one of y'all. Do they put that pressure there? Or is Auburn in a situation where they can apply that pressure?
That's the $1 million question with quarterback recruiting at every school every year. It's very sensitive. Duck has so many options. I don't think that would work with him.
Yeah.
He's
got. And Travis now has these options. I mean, the conversation about Burgess is different now than it was 2 months ago.
I'm going to make a prediction on him. By the end of spring, either Georgia will have offered him or they'll at least be in the conversation.
For Travis Burgess.
If Georgia gets involved, that makes things much rougher because Grayson is right down the street. Yeah, it's an hour and 10, something like that from Athens. So,
but what, I mean, Auburn's what, an hour and 50 minutes?
Something like that. But I mean, and that's also, it's Georgia, man.
I get it.
Yeah, I've never been a Georgia fan at all, but I understand. Plus, their quarterback room is it's not intimidating.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
So they're swinging right now, but if they miss on Jared Curtis, which, by the way, if they don't get him, and I just think he's going to pick Oregon. That's my gut.
Okay.
But if they don't get him, then that's
coming today.
Like today.
Yeah.
So if I'm wrong on that and they get him, then all this conversation's out the window. They got their guy. He's got the Herculean arm and all that stuff. But if they miss, it's all over the place. They're going to have to reevaluate, and they're going to go recruit quarterbacks just like from scratch again. Because the way I was told is Georgia has Curtis so much further ahead than everybody else that it's just they'd be kind of like an Auburn, say, okay, who's first guy?
Yeah.
So that's something. And I also think Travis, because he plays at Grayson, everybody going through, there'll be a couple other schools get involved. Auburn has an interesting decision on whether they press him or not. It's a great question. I don't know the answer to it. It's very complex.
Yeah. And like, how much does Auburn feel like they need a quarterback of that stature in this class? I mean, I'm a firm believer that you need a quarterback in every class, but I don't think you have to have the quarterback in this class.
1,000,000%. We talk about this all the time now. This is a sad stat, but the elite guys, the absolute unequivocal elite players, the five-star quarterbacks are now transferring at a literal rate of 60%.
Yeah.
It's insane. So to think that you're going to keep Deuce, who's, by the way, doing very, very well at Auburn, and then you bring in a 4 or 5-star guy right behind him, and he's just going to wait 3-4 years.
Right.
It's unless Deuce turns pro after his junior year, there's a good chance that kid they sign after is not going to make it. So you take a developmental guy, that's okay.
I mean, we had a conversation on the show last week about that stat of, top quarterbacks are more likely to play somewhere not for you than actually play for you. That it's going to dictate, I think, how they handle Jackson Arnold after this season. Because there's a world where Jackson's incredible. Best case scenario is Jackson's incredible. The NFL says, yeah, come on, we'll take you. You got a spot on a roster. Someone will draft you.
Sure.
The other option is the other side of it is he's not what we want him to be. Maybe Deuce beats him out or he just underperforms, and it's a clear time. Okay, Jackson, you need to go somewhere else. But there's this window where Jackson's this really solid college quarterback, maybe leads them to 8-4, has 3,000 passing yards, and takes care of the football. And it's like, okay, what do we do? Do we say, hey, Jackson, come back and fear losing Deuce, or do you do what Oklahoma did to Dylan Gabriel for Jackson Arnold and say, yeah, it's the young guy's turn. Thank you for everything you did. Best of luck in your future endeavors. I don't know, this is the modern age of what college football is when you handle quarterbacks. So it's super, super interesting. I don't like it. I don't like that these conversations are being had, but it's the reality.
Yeah, Auburn wouldn't be about the 80th school to join that fray.
Right.
It is. I mean, look, we all know if you're not just good at if you're not really good at quarterback now, even at Georgia, think about it. When they won their first title, they were throwing the ball against Alabama in the fourth quarter. They weren't just running down their throat. You have to throw the ball. So if you got to make some unsavory moves to win because of the quarterback stuff, I don't like it either. But I mean, there isn't a school in the country that isn't thinking about how can I get a better quarterback for next year? Because it changes your roster more than any other spot by a mile. So yeah, it's part of the ballgame.
And a position that we will never talk about enough. Offensive line, the Tigers are battling with USC for an elite offensive lineman. That is next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between going out or online shopping, it sneaks up on you. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO. It gives you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money, not just a budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center. I love that you can track your spending as well as the reoccurring payments that you may still be paying for stuff that you have no idea. But also in the dashboard, you can keep track of your investments. Everything's all in one place. Normally in the past, I've used these separate apps. Monarch Money, there's no reason to have all these separate apps regarding finances. It's all in one. So take control of your finances today with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That is monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege, half off your first year with Monarch Money. Brian Smith, host of The Portal. Thank you for making Locked On Auburn your first listen. Make The Portal your second listen every single day. So the Tigers are battling with Jalen Miller, Jelani Miller. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't found anybody interviewing him where they say his name, but he is a guy from Arizona, Goodyear, Arizona, 3-star offensive lineman. I've seen some places list him as a tackle. Some places list him as an interior offensive lineman, but 6'6", 300 pounds. I don't care if he's a tackle or a guard. I want him on the team. He has an official with Auburn scheduled for June 13th, and the other presumed favorite is USC. He visits them the following week.
USC is absolutely murdering it. They've got 27 commits or something like that. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they went bananas. USC is going to have the number one class this year. I think that's pretty well established, but right. USC needs linemen too. It's the last hurdle for them. That's where they've struggled the most when they played Oregon or they played, any of the schools in the Midwest, Notre Dame with their rival. If they get better O-line play with everything else they're recruiting, look out. But Auburn is kind of in that boat too. They've upped the ante. Auburn's ahead of where USC is, ironically, at O-line, believe it or not.
Yeah. Say that again, please.
Make you feel a little better today, Zach?
Yeah, it does. It does. This one's interesting because Auburn got in so late. He didn't have an Auburn offer until like late February. 247 says Auburn offered on February 25th. And for, you and I shared a few articles over the weekend together about how it seems like it's Auburn or USC, like kind of snuck up on me a little bit.
Well, it's name the last player from Arizona that Auburn landed. Has it been recent? I'm sure there's somebody, maybe a transfer or something, but like that. I mean, that's just not working.
I'm not sure.
That's what I mean. Like, why would you be looking there? You know what I mean? Like, that's not SEC territory. Alabama doesn't even really recruit out there much. So
yeah, no, you don't hear like elite stuff from that Desert Edge. I mean, what kind of program is that? Is that one that you know of historically?
Yes. They've got players.
Yeah. Gotcha. But, then his other OVs, he's going to Wisconsin the week prior to visiting Auburn, and then on May 2nd, so like I guess this weekend, he took an official visit to Arizona State. But the chatter's not there. The chatter is between Auburn and USC, is what it seems like.
That is important on a couple of fronts. I watched his film. I thought he was pretty darn well coached. Not surprised, considering where he's from.
So he played more tackle in his film? Yeah.
But in high school, even if you've got just a Goliath that's going to play interior, you're going to play left tackle most of the time.
Yeah, I get it.
But he is somebody that engulfs players. He reminds me of some of the big guys you think of in the Southeastern Conference that are what I personally call earth movers. He'll play at 320. He'll end up being the left guard somewhere and being second team all conference. He's like, which I'm sure I'll speak for you now. You'll sign up for that at Auburn.
Yes, please. And I don't care if it's a tackle or guard. I don't care. But yeah, I mean, you see pictures of this guy, and it's like, yeah, I mean, he looks the part. It's just interesting, like so much. I mean, we've talked about this before, like just from a cliche standpoint. Linemen don't enter the offensive linemen that are playing don't enter the portal as much.
They do not.
I think there's a few factors of that. One, the schools value them, and they say, what's it going to take to keep you?
100%.
And two, like, offensive linemen are just wired differently than skill positions. Like, they find a place where they're comfortable. Like, they're good. They're fine. And also, just from an NFL point of view, like, they will find you if you can play on the offensive line. So, to me, it's so important to get these offensive linemen out of high school. And this is one where it's like, okay, I don't know if Auburn just found him in February and they've really just sped up their relationship. I don't know if he just has a desire to play in the SEC. I don't know if it's an NIL thing where Auburn's going to be aggressive to get this guy because the offensive line, like 2026 is coming together, but the offensive line portion of it, they've got a ways to go. And so maybe they're wanting to be more aggressive to kind of jumpstart that from a NIL point of view. I don't know. All of them make sense. All of those things seem reasonable. And maybe it's a combination of all of those things.
Well, I also know from Auburn's perspective, because in one of my other tabs that I'm looking at, Auburn needs to hit a home run with O-line recruiting this year because Bama has turned on the let's go crazy on D-line button. Their D-line board now is pretty elite. So I was thinking there for a while based on last year, Alabama's staff was going to screw it up. They've reversed course. They're going to have a top 5 class, and they're going to have a lot of D-linemen. So you can't miss on kids like this, especially if you put the resources into it. Auburn's going to have to win some key battles. They got some other good linemen coming in too, but this is another chance. You've got to get elite linemen in this class. Yeah,
no question about it. And we've seen Alabama pivot a little bit to recruiting Alabama and Georgia again, which, I mean, I think Auburn's feeling it. I mean, especially if the CD Morgan thing goes Alabama's direction, like that's concerning. That's a big concern for Auburn.
Yeah, CD Morgan, I might go see him this week too. That's a special player. And at one point it looked like Auburn, maybe Florida, Alabama really wasn't involved that much. They had offered, but he didn't talk about him much when I spoke with him. Now Alabama's much more involved. And Kalen DeBoer, if there's one thing he knows, it's passing game. He could probably do a lot with a 6'5", 210-pound receiver.
Yeah, I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out. So we'll see. Yeah, crystal balls have come in for CD to go to Alabama now. So it seems like they've really taken on that recruitment, despite CD being in Auburn like all the time, it feels like. So we'll see how Auburn counters. Got plenty of time, but we'll see how Hugh Freeze and the Tigers handle this surge of Alabama momentum, or Alabama with their in-state recruiting momentum. It's certainly happening. So, Brian, how can people check out everything that you've got going on?
The Portal Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, or anywhere else you get your podcast. We're on every social media you can imagine, and it is a lot of fun, man. Right now, still got people making commitments at the portal, and we got the beginning this week especially. It will be full on between now and early, basically the 4th of July. Every day there will be big commitments. So I'll be covering as much of it as I can possibly cover on the Portal Podcast.
Yeah, you've done an incredible job with it. The show is growing like crazy. So go check out the Portal. Thank you for making Locked On Auburn your first listen. Make the Portal your second listen every single day. Please like the video. Please subscribe. And if you're tuned in on audio, please subscribe. Leave us a review. Helps us out a ton. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.